Hi, my name is Brad Smith, and I am really excited about the information that we're going to be going over in this webinar today. I get very passionate about helping other people achieve the same level of success that we've been able to achieve, especially when you've maybe come from a background where you've been struggling financially or not having enough time freedom. I know that 3.5 years ago, my brother and I were in the worst financial position that we've ever been in. We had a business of 10 years, and with maybe you struggled financially during when the economy went down in 2008, 2009, but April 2012, we were forced to close the doors, and we ended up walking away from that situation with about $250,000 of debt, bank loans and credit card debt, and really nothing to show for it. And through the opportunity that we're going to go over today and the systems that we've been able to follow and the mentorship program that we've been able to be a part of, we were able to pay off that debt and actually buy my wife some land and build her a house. We bought a couple of new vehicles. We were able to save six figures in the bank and go on multiple very nice vacations around the world. And it's just been completely life-changing all in the last 2.5, less than 3 years. And a lot of people have asked, how have we been able to build such a large agency doing over $1 million in a month in less than 3 years and have this kind of success? And not only that, but to have so many other people that we've been able to help mentor to have similar results and be able to get out of their financial struggles and have the financial success that they've been looking for. So that's what we're going to be going over today on this webinar. So let me do a quick introduction of my brother and I. We're the ones hosting this webinar. And, again, 2012, we closed the business. 2013, April 2013, we started with Symmetry Financial Group. And we got a phone call from a good friend who had had a couple of months of success in this business, in this industry, and with this company, Symmetry Financial Group. And I thought, if I could have half of the results that he had and make a part-time income, make $4,000 or $5,000 a month, working a couple days a week, that would really give me some breathing room. So we got started, and in our second month, we were able to do $52,000 in that month. On the 8th month, we did $106,000 as an agency. Month 12, we were able to do $183,000 in a month. Month 19, we broke $300,000. Month 24, we broke $400,000. Month 26, we did over $500,000. Month 31, just a few months later, we did over $850,000. 2 months after that, we did $1.183 million in a month. As these numbers are unheard of, and this isn't to toot our horn; it's really to toot the horn of the system that we've been able to follow and plug into, and the mentorship that we've been fortunate enough to have. And it's available to other agents that want to plug into that same system and same mentorship program. So when I first saw this opportunity, I really wanted to do my due diligence. So Matt and I both drove down to Asheville, and we looked at this, and we were seriously considering this as a career option for us. We met with Brandon Ellis, we met with Casey Watkins, and we learned that their background was in the field. They were agents, and they had built large agencies with a different IMO, but they were frustrated because most insurance companies, and you may know this if you're in insurance, are very top heavy. There's a lot of people, several people at the top that make a lot of money, and then you've got a lot of agents down at the bottom who just scrape by and they struggle. And symmetry was really formed. The word symmetry means balance, and Casey and Brandon wanted to bring balance back to this industry. Balance of money from the top to the bottom, but also a balance of time and money, not just about making a lot of money. These guys aren't just about making a lot of money. They're about really having a balanced lifestyle. And that appealed to me because I've got 2 kids and I've got a wife, and I wanted to be able to enjoy my family and not have to trade all my time for money. But then when I went to a conference and I met Mr. Brian Pope, they partner with Brian because of his background. He has built a few different IMOs to be some of the largest IMOs in the country. One of them he sold at the age of 38 to a publicly traded company for $100 million. They were doing $100 million a year. Sold her for $45 million, and that was about the time that they partnered with Brian. Was when he had sold that company. But just a remarkable background, and I don't know of anybody that would be a better resource to be and person to be leading this company than Brian Pope. So then I look at their sales history. They started in October of 2009. They did $307,000 their first year. Most of that was Brandon and Casey, and Casey's brother had gone out and written a business themselves, and they started building a company. And then just in 2015, they did almost $35 million. When I saw this, I thought, wow, these guys obviously have something that's working. It's being duplicated. So, having a system, being able to have that kind of growth, you've got to have it systematized. Now, what's very impressive is when Brian Pope, who has already built a $100 million a year company before, he knows how to do it. This isn't his first rodeo. He's done it before, and he's going to do it again. He's projecting that by 2018, we'll be at a $100 million a year company. And then 3 years after that, we'll be at $300 million. They're not putting plans in place on how they're going to get the business for next year. They're putting plans in place on how they're going to grow for 5 years from now, for 10 years from now. So pretty exciting times for Symmetry. So what I want to do is have Matt, if you would just talk about the lifestyle of Symmetry, because that's really what attracted us and what's attracting such high caliber people to this company, which is why they're having the growth they're having, is because their system attracts such high caliber people. So talk to us about that.
Yeah. The whole reason the name Symmetry Financial Group came about was because Symmetry represents balance. One of the things that we've found with insurance agents in general is typically there's not a lot of balance. A lot of agents work very, very hard. They work long hours, and a lot of them don't have a lot of money to show for it. So there's really not a lot of balance. There's a lot of imbalance typically in our industry, and Symmetry was really designed to bring balance into an insurance agent's life. So we want to have not just money, but we also want to have time with their family. And typically the reason that agents don't have a lot of money is because they have to spend so much time prospecting. They'll spend 90% of their time prospecting and, calling their friends and family and trying to get referrals and take them out to lunch. And then they'll spend maybe 10% of their time actually sitting in front of qualified buyers and filling out applications. And what we've done at Symmetry is we've flip-flopped that ratio, and we spend 10% of our time prospecting, but 90% of our time actually sitting in front of qualified buyers writing up applications. And what that does is our system really creates consistency. No one really likes having that type of lifestyle where, every week you're starting over from scratch and you're pretty much unemployed every week. And so what we've done with Symmetry is when you get in front of 90% of your time is in front of buyers, qualified buyers, what it really does is create more consistency in your life. It can create more consistent action, which is going to create more consistent results. Now, before we get into how we get in front of our clients, we first have to identify what are some major problems going on today. Because with problems, there's opportunity. And we see ourselves as problem solvers. So let's look at what the problems are that we can solve for people. Number one is a mortgage crisis. There's an all-time high of bank foreclosures, bank repossessions right now.
Credit card debt is at $712 billion. Student loan debt, $1.2 trillion. 43% of households spend more money every year than they make. 52% of employees live paycheck to paycheck. That was me a few years ago. I was living paycheck to paycheck, not sure how I was going to pay the next week's bills. And that's most people in America. I thought, without looking at statistics, that things are getting better. We keep hearing the news that things are getting better. But the reality is that in 2015, there were 38 states reported year-over-year increases in foreclosures. I mean, you look at New Jersey alone, up 197% in foreclosures from 2014. And what's surprising for a lot of people is that most foreclosures, 50% of foreclosures happen not because of a job loss, but because of either a medical issue or a disability. 32% is because of job loss.
So what can we do about problem number one? The solution to the mortgage crisis right now is mortgage protection. And what we do with that is we provide a death benefit. So if a loved one does pass away, it's going to pay off their mortgage. If they do happen to get a critical illness, let's say like a heart attack or a cancer or a stroke or some major illness like that, it's going to provide an income or potentially pay off the entire balance of the mortgage in that event. If they become disabled, it's going to make their mortgage payments. And the best part about this to me is if they end up getting their mortgage paid off, let's say 20 years, 25, 30 years from now, and they have not died, they have not gotten sick, they have not become disabled, they get a return of premium on the money they've put into that. So it becomes a very, very easy sale because it's almost like putting money away in savings. And if they happen to die, happen to get sick, the house is paid off. But if not, they've got money there to, again, help cover maybe some retirement income. Solution number 2, the final expense industry right now is a huge industry. And so what final expense will do is it'll cover any final expenses that they have. It'll cover funeral costs, any medical bills, things that are going to be a burden to the family that particular person does not want to leave to their loved ones. The third solution that we do is when we're with a homeowner, we talk about other financial needs. The mortgage protection is going to be our foot in the door. Numerous times we meet with clients that have $100,000, $300,000, $500,000, sometimes over $1 million. And the last thing they want to do is lose half their retirement because of a downturn in the market. And so what we can do is we can put them in various different products that you can still have the upward gains of the market, but no market losses. The next question is, how do we get in front of our clients? How is it that we spend 90% of our time in front of qualified buyers? And the reason is because when somebody gets a new mortgage, whether it be a refinance or buy a new house, we can mail them a letter that has the client's specific name, their address, the name of their bank, their mortgage amount. And about 1.2 to 1.5% of people that get that letter will fill it out. So this might say something about, you're entitled to participate in an affordable mortgage protection insurance that could protect your $284,000 mortgage in case of something unexpected happens. So again, about 1.2 to 1.5% of people that get this letter will fill it out and mail it back. So we're not calling the 98.5% of people that got this letter and don't have an interest in this. We're actually calling the very small percentage of people that got this in the mail and filled it out. So that we're meeting with qualified people. And typically, it's a one-sit application. It's not something that we will follow up with 2, 3, 4 times before we get an application. We go in there. It's not as much of a sale. It's more of a, let's find out what you qualify for. You obviously have a need. The letter sold the client on the product. Now let's find out what are your health issues, and let's find something you can afford. And so by the time that we're done with the first appointment, we're typically taking application. We've got brand new leads. We've got bonus leads. So we've all heard before, it takes money to make money. Symmetry is willing to invest in the agents as long as the agents are willing to invest in themselves. So we have new leads, and for Symmetry, it typically will cost the company about $60 to generate that one lead. Now, they don't charge the agents $60. They'll only charge the agent $26. You've got 5 weeks that no other agent can call them. Now, if you can't close that person and sell that person within 5 weeks, they're gonna take that lead and now sell it to another agent and make it available for $5. And then you got bonus leads that start off at $5, $4, and go all the way down to 50 cents. Obviously, that this information, these leads are limited based on the data. So because of that, we're not looking for everybody. There is obviously some qualifications that need to happen in order for these leads to be available. But a full-time agent is going to take between 10 and 12 leads a week, which is about $265 per week in overhead. Again, we don't allow new agents to do this. Number one, because we need to make sure that an agent knows what they're doing so that the clients are getting taken care of. But number two, our job is not to put an agent out of business. We want to make agents profitable. So what we do is a brand new agent is going to start off on bonus leads. They might start off with $3 leads, $2 leads, $4 or $5 leads, and really get comfortable with the phone script, booking appointments, get comfortable with the products. And there are literally hundreds of thousands of bonus leads available all over the country right now, and agents can start on any budget. So let me make clear, there's at the bottom, you'll kind of see that note here. Leads are not required. They're only available for agents who qualify and maintain a minimum production requirements. So if you're the type of person that says, well, I don't really see the point in investing and buying production, which is what we do. We buy our clients. You're more than welcome to, call friends and family, do what typical insurance agents do. But again, that's kind of, you're back to the rat race again. So let me kind of put these numbers into perspective. This is how a typical agent is going to make $115,000 per year. Obviously, these are hypothetical numbers, and it depends on if you're looking for part-time or full-time. But this is kind of your average $115,000 a year agent. This is what it would take. So our average policies are going to run about $85 a month for a client. Times 12 is $1,000 a year, which is APV, annual premium volume. Our agents will start at a 60% contract, and you can work all the way up to 110%. So if you're a brand new agent and you go out there and sell a $1,000 annual premium product, you're going to get 60% of that as commission. So most of our carriers will do a 75% advance or a 9-month advance. But over the course of a year, you're going to get the full $600 in commission on that sale. Now, if you are at an 80% contract, obviously that would be $800 per policy. If you were at a 100% contract, you're going to be at $1,000. So there are agents that are all the way up to 110%. But if you're getting the recommended leads of, let's say, 10 to 12 leads per week, you should be able to sit down with 10 people. 10 of those clients you should be sitting down with. If you're average, you're going to close about half of those. And out of those 5 apps that you send in, you might get 4 issued. So if you sold and issued 4 applications per week times $600 per application, that's an average of about $2,400 of income per week, which is $9,600 per month or $115,000 per year. So Brad, at that, I'm going to turn the call back over to you to kind of go over a little bit more of the business side of what we do.
Yeah. And before I talk about the specifics of the business aspect of Symmetry and what we're doing, I first want to talk about money and how money works. Because, when I grew up, I was taught that the way you become wealthy, the way you become successful is you go to school and you get good grades, you get a good job, and you work with a big company, and eventually you retire with a pension. And the problem is that most people in America, that's not working out. 95% of people by the age of 65 are going to be dead or dead broke, just like you said in the previous slide, Matt. And so for 95% of people, that's not working. So, we look at Robert Kiyosaki. He's one of the most well-known financial experts in the world. And he wrote a book called Cash Flow Quadrant. He talks about the 4 areas of making money. Most people, it's in the top left. So you got the left-hand side and the right-hand side of the quadrant. On the left-hand side is 95% of the population. They're either employed or they're self-employed. The self-employed specialists, it'd be anything from an electrician to a plumber to a doctor to an attorney. All of them on the left-hand side trade time for money. They have to give up one in order to get the other. You either have more time and less money, or you have less time and more money. And the problem also is that only 5% of the wealth is made on this side of the quadrant. On the right-hand side of the quadrant, only 5% of the population, but they make 95% of the money. So if we had a choice of working and earning an income on the left-hand side or the right-hand side, which one would you choose? I think the obvious choice for all of us would be on the right-hand side. The problem is, how do you get there? And so what Symmetry has put together is a system to get you across the bridge from self-employed as an agent to being a business owner, and having a system where you can use other people's ideas, other people's money, other people's efforts to earn an income and start participating in that 95% of the wealth that only 5% of people currently participate in. See, this all sounded good to me when I first learned this, but I just didn't know how to do it. I didn't know how to build a business. I didn't have the money to build a big business. I didn't have any mentorship to teach me how to do it. And that's what is so unique about Symmetry. So how does it work to build a Symmetry agency? Let's assume that you are still out in the field. You're still working with clients. You've been here for a few months, and so you've been bumped to 80% commission level. You submit your normal 12 applications a month that get issued, $12,000 a month in premium. Your income is $9,600 a month, just like the example Matt gave previously. But now you hire 3 agents, and Brian is at 70% commission, Mary is at 65%, and Mike is brand new. He's at 60%. Brian is submitting 15 applications per month that get issued, $15,000 a month in premium. So he's making an income of about $10,500 a month. Well, because you have a 10% spread in your commission levels, you're at 80%, Brian's at 70%. You as a manager get that 10% difference. So you're getting 10% of the $15,000 that Brian is getting issued. That's $1,500 a month. With the example of Mary, you have a bigger spread. So $10,000 and a 15% spread on Mary's business that is getting issued. you're making another $1,500 a month. And then with Mike, you're making an extra $1,000. So between 3 agents here, you're making an extra $4,000 a month in passive income. That's $48,000 a year on top of your $9,600 a month. Okay, so this is kind of a small picture, but let's look at big picture. Let's say that you've been with us for a little bit longer now, and you're helping other people build their agencies. So you're at 100%. Brian sees you and says, well, I'd like to build a business also. I want to have the time freedom. So Brian has 15 agents doing 75 applications a month, $75,000 per month. You're overriding that 10% spread is on the entire agency of Brian. So 10% of 75,000 is $7,500 a month that you're making off of Brian's 15 agents and their efforts. Mary has 10 agents doing $50,000 a month. That 20% spread is another $10,000 a month off of Mary's agency. And with Mike's agency, you have a 30% spread off of $25,000 a month. That's an extra $7,500. So in this example, with 3 agencies that you've helped develop, that's an extra $25,000 a month in passive income. Now, when I first saw this, I thought that this is going to be very difficult to do. This is going to take years and years to help 3 people develop an agency. But what's so exciting and so unique about Symmetry is they have all the training in place that users simply introduce agents to this system. And the training will teach them how to write policies, how to work with the leads, how to work with the clients. The system will teach them how to hire other agents. So it's a very, very duplicatable system that didn't take Matt and I very long. You can plug into the fast track training. It's online. You watch videos and audios, 10 steps to success. We've got scripts. You're going to make it your own, but you're going to follow steps and follow an outline. Live training. We've got Symmetry conferences twice a year, usually in February and August. You're definitely going to want to make it to those events. The SWAT training, it's more advanced training. That's in Dallas twice a year. We've got boot camps in your area. We do them all over the country. We've got a great mentorship program. You're going to be in business for yourself, not by yourself. We're going to help you. We're going to build this together because we all have a financial incentive to make sure that our agents are financially successful. We've got conference calls, weekly Symmetry calls. We've got weekly SWAT team calls. And we like to have fun. We're not doing this just for the money. Again, it's all about balance, having a balanced lifestyle, being able to enjoy life. We say making a living while living life. So, and part of that is going to come through Symmetry incentive trips and insurance incentive trips. We work with, over 40 different insurance companies, and almost all of them have incentive trips. And, average agents earn at least 1 or 2 trips a year. I know for me, I went to Ireland just a few months ago, I went to St. Thomas just a few months ago, less than a year ago, went to Hawaii. All these trips are paid for by these insurance companies. American Amicable went to Kauai, and then Barcelona. We've got trips to Maui and St. Thomas, Punta Cana, Cabo, Ireland, Puerto Vallarta. These are all in 2015, so we've got more and more coming. So let me do a quick introduction to our team. Mike Colburn, if you could just share your story of where you came from and how Symmetry's been a benefit to you in your first year here with us last year.
Hey guys, thank you so much for asking me to be on this call. My expertise has been from about 4 years of working with Northwestern Mutual. If any of you are like me on this call, I thought that the only way that I could really grow a successful practice in the insurance industry was by, calling on family and friends, getting referrals, unfortunately really challenging a lot of my close relationships. I am super excited to tell you that there is a much better structure through an absolutely phenomenal lead system. The other thing I just want to talk about, and I've been in this for a year now with Symmetry, is really truly building a self-sustaining practice that does not give up your time. Everywhere I've been before has told me, yeah, you'll truly get the time in the future if you just put the effort in now. Symmetry has really been the only thing that I've found that truly gives you more time to do the things that you care about. because you're able to build an agency, you're able to recruit, you're able to introduce other people to such a phenomenal opportunity. The other thing I just want to briefly mention before I pass this off is the growth culture. I absolutely love the mentorship. So if you're on the phone looking for the opportunity to partner up with highly successful people in the insurance industry and be mentored and coached on how to truly grow a great practice with a great opportunity, I can tell you from personal experience that I could not be more excited and happy to be positioned in the place that I am with the company that I am. I could not be more excited. And Brad, Matt, I truly appreciate you guys and appreciate each of the mentors. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Awesome. Thank you, Mike. We appreciate you so much. Let's bring on Curtis Knight.
Hey, thanks, Matt and Brad, for bringing me onto the webinar. I really appreciate it, and I want to share briefly with you my experience for the last year. Prior to getting involved with insurance, I was involved with network marketing for 22 years. I was able to earn millions of dollars in that industry, but unfortunately, I had other people that I brought into it that did not get the same results, and I believe over time that really tainted that industry for me, and I was seeking something different, something that would be more fulfilling. And when I met you guys, you were very credible, and you were very intelligent, articulate, and understood the insurance so well, and you had such a methodology or a system put together that I knew I could excel. More importantly, I knew at that point that when I introduced or let other people know about it, they would get similar or same results, or maybe even better results than what I had experienced. So I want to thank you both for bringing me on board and for mentoring me. I was able to earn a very good 6 figures my first year in 2015, and we can see 7 figures a year in the near future.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right, let's go to Paul Honeycutt, Agency Director with the company. Paul, you've been with the company for close to 5 years now, and our entire agency is direct to you. So I appreciate you coming on. If you would just let us know your experience since you've been with Symmetry.
Hi. Let me first start off by saying thank you for the great introduction, Brad. I must say that I'm very humbled to speak with you guys today. Now, after losing a very small 6-figure income where I was working about 65 to 70 hours a week, I decided to go into the insurance industry. However, what I found was that I was working the same amount of hours as before, but now I was only making about $35,000 a year. In fact, 6 months prior to coming on board with Symmetry, my wife and I were forced into bankruptcy. We lost everything we owned and even had to move in with my mother. It was not something to be real proud of in your early 40s. Now I've been with Symmetry for a little over 4 years, and let me tell you, this is an incredible opportunity. Not only have I been able to replace that small 6-figure income, but I've been able to double it in a very short period of time, working on average of about 35 to 40 hours a week. I've even won several all-expense-paid trips to some very exotic places. My wife and I now enjoy the lifestyle and the money that we've been looking for, and I can't thank Symmetry enough for the opportunity and the system that they put in place.
Wow, that's great. You've got such a great story, Paul. Let's bring on Marlon Faulkner, who is direct to Nate Offer. Marlon, you have had more growth, personal growth, of anyone that I know last year. Just unbelievable development that you've had. You've become such a tremendous leader. I know that your team is just so proud to be a part of your agency. You talk about a story. If you could just tell us kind of the background before Symmetry and your experience with our group and with Symmetry since you got started.
Thank you so much, Matt and Brad, for everything you guys do, not just for me, but for my team. I'll forever be grateful to Nate Alford for sending me a video about Symmetry. See, guys, a few years ago, when I found out about this opportunity, I wasn't even living at home. My wife and I had separated. I wasn't a good husband. I wasn't a good father. Because I know some of you guys can relate to this. When the money's not right, nothing's right. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. And when I found Symmetry, I realized that I couldn't find success. And I'd worked insurance for about 15 years, but it wasn't about the opportunities. There were some good opportunities that had come and go. It was really about me. See, I needed to be mentored. I needed someone to help me be a manager of myself. And when I found Symmetry and I found the systems that were in place, it allowed me to succeed far greater than anything I've ever dreamed or imagined. It almost feels like a fairy tale because we've done things and experienced things that we never thought we could, but we always dreamed we could. See, if you're like me, you know in your heart that you're supposed to do something more. You just don't know what's out there. And you're a little afraid, or you're a little, sensitive to taking another opportunity because you don't know if you're going to get burned again. But guys, when I plugged into the Symmetry system, I realized that if I just didn't quit, I can make it here because the system is working. Other people are making money. Other people have success stories than I could. Fast forward a few years, my wife and I are going to take family vacations. We're taking our kids to Disney World this year. We have more money in the bank almost than I made in a year a few years ago. This is the opportunity for us. And I know that we are looking for the right people to partner with us, that are tired of being who they are, and they see themselves being more. So Matt and Brad, thank you guys again so much, and see you guys at the top.
Thanks, Marlon. Glad to have you as part of the team and really appreciate everything that you do. Let's go ahead and close. If you are ready to move forward with an interview or you'd like to get some questions answered, go ahead and click the link below and fill out the qualification questionnaire and just list the 3 reasons why you feel like you would be a good fit for our company. You're going to be contacted by one of our leaders. I just want to thank everybody again for taking some time out to jump on this webinar. Hopefully you got a lot out of it, and God bless.